Welcome to another episode of Life Chat with Viv and Vil. We are so excited today because this is going to be a very fun show. We're talking about Christmas. And what we have on today is the daughter of Santa Claus. Yes, you heard me correctly. Her father was Santa for 35 years. And we just
Wow.
wanted to have a fun episode today and just talk about the things that we love about Christmas and to give our meaning for the holiday and just to give you guys some tips or whatever you want, what you may need to know about how to make your house winter wonderland. Because as I said, our guest, her father Santa, so her house is winter wonderland. So we're just gonna jump right in and just welcome our guest, Debbie. She will introduce herself and tell us a little bit about herself. Debbie, welcome.
Yeah, I'm Debbie Serrano, and like Viv said, I was privileged to have a father that was always involved in Christmas, both my parents, but especially Dad when I was growing up. And then when he retired, he grew this big white beard, and he was asked by a local daycare if he wanted to be their Santa Claus. So that started the ball rolling. And he got into such demand that he couldn't handle it all. He never took money. He did it out of a love for Christmas. And he liked to tell the little children about Jesus. And he was just an amazing man for as long as he was with us. And in fact, here's a picture of him, if you can see it on the camera. So he actually had pictures of children that he had already had pictures of their parents with him. So yeah, that was pretty special.
That's
I
awesome.
decorate, I collect Santas. I guess that's because of Dad.
How many do you have?
Oh, I have different kinds.
Mhm.
So I would say maybe 150.
Whoa.
I have a
I
Santa
like that
closet.
number.
Yes, I have a Santa closet, and they all get put to sleep in their boxes until Christmas time, and then they all come out and they're displayed all over the house.
Wow.
I do have some that stay out all year.
Wow, that is awesome. So you see why we had to have her on, Vilma. She is like the daughter of Santa Claus.
Yeah, and I love that tree behind you. And if you notice, there's no tree behind me. And I don't think
There's your
there's one
tree.
behind Vivelin because unfortunately my tree is naked
Uh-oh.
and it's waiting for me to clothe it. So
Okay.
I haven't started yet.
Now the question we should ask Debbie now is how many trees she has in her home.
Well, I put up, if I'm able every year, I put up 13 large trees and then maybe half a dozen mini trees. And then all of the Santas. And then a lot of the pictures are changed out to Christmas pictures, mainly of Santa Claus.
And tell us a little bit about these trees. What's the meaning for the 13 trees? Do you have a theme for each tree?
Well, it started off with just, one tree, regular, like everybody has, with all their ornaments. And my husband and I just happen to be collectors, I guess, by nature. And we have a great fondness for Christmas decorations, Christmas ornaments. And we always get one wherever we travel. And then we just love them. It's just a thing. So pretty soon they didn't fit on one tree. So we said, well, we'll just take some and put them on another tree. And eventually it grew to 13 trees, and they're kind of themed. I have a Grinch tree, a Harry Potter tree, a cartoon tree. My husband has we call it the geek tree. Because it's got Star Trek and Star Wars and the Marvel superheroes and his cars, things like that on it.
Mhm.
So, and then there's a whole bunch of other ones. I don't know if you want me to name them all, but
Go ahead.
then I have a very large 9-foot Santa tree because I had so many Santa ornaments, of course, that their tree had to grow. And so then I have a nature tree, which is, like all animals and things that you find outside. I have a house tree that most of all the ornaments are figurines of houses. And we also have most of the ornaments that we picked up at places that we visited. I have a minion tree. That one's very special to me. I love the minion tree. We put we put 2 trees in our bedroom. One is mainly old world Santas, and the other one is actually a metal tree, and it holds, there's a designer called Jim Shore, and he does Santas with quilt patterns on them, but they are very heavy. And so I found a metal tree that I then decorated, put some lights on, and it's strong enough to hold up those ornaments. And then there's the tree that's in the guest room. And because my eldest granddaughter used to use that room when she would visit, I call that Lauren's tree. And what I did is put all my angels on there because she's my angel.
Mm-hmm.
And that one behind you is the pear tree.
That's the fruit tree.
Fruit tree.
I forgot that one because it's here. That's the fruit tree.
Mhm.
I like grapes and, figurines of grapes and things like that. So it evolved the same way. I just had a lot of fruit ornaments that I liked. And so I think that's all of them.
How long does it take you to put up all these trees and do all the decoration? When do you start doing this production?
Well, I start early I would like to start earlier than I do, but I start at the beginning of November at least. But I think every year I try to start a little bit sooner and a little bit sooner because I get a little slower every year. So I have to allow enough time. It's a lot of going up and down stairs.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Do you bring any of the decoration outside, like where people can pass by and look at the decorations and admire them?
We do a lot of outside decoration too.
Mm-hmm.
There is another Christmas tree outside. It's not really decorated other than just unbreakable ornaments on it. But it's lit and it's in the yard, and we have lots of lights and deer and things like that to decorate the outside.
Mm-hmm.
So when did this all get started? Like I know you said you started because you guys, when you travel, you started collecting ornaments and then you got so much. So, and that's the start of the Christmas tree. Is it that you always grew up this way, like always decorating, going out, going big for Christmas? Or is there something because of your father over 35 years being Santa, and then you just decide to start collecting Santas? And what's the cause? What's the meaning behind you going so big when it comes for Christmas?
Well, when I was a little girl, my mom and dad let me help decorate the Christmas tree, and I just loved it. And back then, there were very large lights on the tree. We didn't have the mini lights, and my mother would painstakingly take angel hair, which is like fiberglass, and she would make these cups and put over the lights. And it was just very special. And we had that long tinsel. Remember that? The long tinsel that you would hang on the branches. And she didn't just throw it on the tree. She would hang every one individually. So it was a painstaking process, but it was done with love. And it was just great memories for me. And then I've always loved Christmas because of that, because they made it special. And then I guess when my dad started to be Santa Claus, all the figurines and things that I would collect would just remind me of him. And it just went and went. There was no real purpose involved in it other than a love for Christmas.
So did this get to the children or child? Are they big decorators as well?
No, I wouldn't say so. I just have one son, but how I do share it is I invite people, friends and people in the neighborhood, especially children, to come and look at the trees. So we have quite a few people coming through the house usually. But I've never done anything, like in a professional way, just people that I know.
So if one wants to start collecting and start doing this, because I know some people, they do enjoy decorating, maybe not myself and Vilma, who I just finished decorating my house for Christmas. I went to see my cousin's new home in Dover, and it was all filled right before Thanksgiving with everything. So I was like, oh my God, this looks so good. And of course, I've been to your home too, Deb, and I've seen it. So it got me motivated to start putting up stuff and decorating and different. So I just finished, I would say, putting my last piece up because I know we're going to do this show and decorate. So Vilma, I don't think you've started yet. According to you, you have a tree.
No, well, I without going really into it, I stopped doing a lot for Christmas some years ago. And so I'm not motivated to do that, but I will put a tree up. And I have all my deers and tons of lights and all those things, and they are here. And maybe one day last year we actually took down some of the reindeers and put them outside, but I don't do Christmas as I used to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for those people who want to get into this habit of knowing how to start this big, glorious decoration, what would you say how they could get started in this, Deb? And how can somebody get involved, and give them any tips that you see that they can able to do in order to, have able to flourish and have like 13 trees or whatever trees. Because I know a lot of people love Christmas. I know a lot of people love to decorate because, like I said, originally we were supposed to have 3 people on, and I know so many people that go gung ho and they love just want to just sit there and admire the decorations and the beauty and everything that comes along with this holiday.
Well, I would say the first thing that you have to have is a very large storage space. When we lived in Florida, we had to actually rent a storage unit.
Wow.
When we moved up to Pennsylvania, we have a nice large house with a very big basement. And my husband lined it all with shelving units. And then you have to have a lot of totes, as we keep everything in plastic in case there was some water damage or anything. You want to keep everything safe. And then I just label everything and store it by tree, so that I can set up one tree at a time. It kind of eliminates the mess. If you do one at a time, then you put the empty things away. And I have to pack up a lot of things. I'm certainly not an empty surface person. I have a lot of knickknacks, I guess you would call them, or just things around the house, on the tables and stuff. So a lot of it gets all packed up, and the Christmas stuff comes out and replaces that for the season. So those are the two main things. I think that you just have to have a huge love for Christmas. And I like my home to make me happy, and putting up the trees makes me happy. It's a creative outlet that I do in the wintertime. I can't go out in the yard and garden like I like, so I decorate the house. And it typically grows a little bit every year. Even though I've tried to slow it down, it still grows a bit every year. So just that one thing. And I'm not going to say that I'm the most organized person, but I try to be as far as the Christmas things go, so I can find everything. And then, of course, I search out Christmas stores, things like that. I have an awful lot of Hallmark ornaments. That's like the main thing to get Christmas ornaments. But I'm particular about the ones that I get. They have to mean something to me. So it's not like I just want the ornaments to have them. I want them to mean something. And going back to my dad, a lot of them remind me of Dad, because I have a lot of, or something in my, in our past that we like that's where the cartoon tree came from. Big Looney Tune fans, Bugs Bunny. And so we have a cartoon tree because my husband used to have those ornaments on his tree, the geek tree, but he got too many ornaments. I think he's taking over, really. and so I said, well, okay, let's move all these ornaments off and, make a cartoon tree. So it's a lot of fun,
And
that's kind of how it evolved.
How long does it take you how long do you keep stuff up? Number one, how long do you?
Once I get it all up, I leave it up for a couple of months.
Oh, okay.
Because I enjoy it. I love it. I don't
Oh.
decorate really for other holidays, not much. Usually the extent of, Easter, Thanksgiving, that kind of thing is the foyer area. And there's a few more things, but Christmas is my big time. I love it.
And I gather your husband helps with the decoration.
As much as he can, he works, and so he doesn't have the time to do all that. But I'm looking forward to the day he gets to retire, and then he can help me more. So.
And how long does it take you to take it all down? That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, that's not something I ever really thought about. I think it's actually faster to take it down than it is to put it up. Because when you put it up, you have to make sure that everything is aesthetic, everything's balanced and in a right place. And I tend to change ornaments around to get the look that I want. So when you put it away, you're just, putting it back in the box. All the ornaments go back in the box, and everything goes back into the totes and goes downstairs. So that's probably faster. Maybe 10 days, take my time,
Yeah, I like that, Vilma, what she says. She's like, she doesn't just put it up for one month, starting before Thanksgiving, but she keeps it up for a long time, because sometimes I feel guilty because my tree is up. The longest I kept my tree up was until March. I felt like, oh God, Evelyn.
Oh, I beat you. I beat you.
Thank you.
One time it was up till April.
Oh, okay. I don't feel alone.
I do understand, because if you put so much into it, you don't want to rush to take it down.
No,
So
no, I'm
I
not.
was up there as long myself, putting all that in there.
I know it's every time I hear somebody say, "Oh, we put the tree up on Christmas Eve and we take it down on New Year's Day," I'm like, "Oh no, don't do that." So
No, I don't know how they do that either, because I'm like, once I have it up, I'm like, okay, we're good. And then I'm like, oh, we gotta take it down. But it has to stay up there for a little while because I don't have the energy to take it all down.
of course, all my trees are artificial, obviously,
Mhm,
because they wouldn't have needles by the time. So
that's true.
we used to get a real tree, but it didn't last long enough, so we changed.
So is there a particular brand of tree that you would recommend for people to get, being that you are so familiar with different, so many trees?
I think lately I've had the best luck, if I can say it, is at the Home Depot.
Hmm,
Um,
really?
I've gotten some of my trees at Lowe's. I try not to spend a lot of money on the tree itself because once I get it decorated, it doesn't really matter what the tree looks like. It's all covered,
Hmm,
and I can make the scraggliest tree look good. Yeah.
hmm, wow.
But like I just did the minion tree and I noticed it was getting a little bald. So I'm gonna have to get a new one for that one.
Okay.
Mhm.
Wow, that's
But I think that the big box stores are the main places that I have sourced trees.
I'm totally shocked that you said Home Depot. I didn't expect that at all because you were saying before that you go to the Christmas stores. So I was thinking you're gonna tell me Michael's or
I've got the Grinch tree is from Michael's. But I've had to replace the lights on it, so I wouldn't recommend that too much. When I lived in Florida, there was a lovely Christmas store that we could get to easily. It was in the next town, and they had wonderful trees. I have not found anything like that up here.
Mhm,
Mhm.
Maybe I haven't wandered far enough, but I haven't found a source for that. But I do find the Home Depot trees to be very nice.
mhm. Excellent. So Vilma, what about you? What traditions or what things do you do at Christmas time other than your
Well,
reindeers?
well, before it's not really a tradition. Um, my best Christmases were in Jamaica,
Mm,
although I've enjoyed Christmas here, and Jamaica is where from for Debbie's you know, just to let you know that in case you didn't know. And Christmas was a fun time. We would go from one house to the next and we ate all day long,
Oh,
all
wonderful.
day long. So we would, and every you would eat dinner at your home. That's where the base was. You had dinner. But there is a particular drink, Debbie, that we have at Christmas time. It's called sorrel. It's called something else here. It's like a fruit. And we go every house you go to, they give you a little glass of sorrel, and those who bake will give you a slice of cake. And then people come to you and you do the same. So it's really like sharing like that. And first, even before I get there, early in the morning, we would wake up maybe 5 o'clock and we go caroling. So we would go around the neighborhood and would start in the church, and then a group of us would go and we would sing by people's window and their gate and wake them up. And
Lovely.
Not at 5 o'clock in the morning, right?
we would would sing Christmas carols. So we'd sing at least one carol by every house. So by the time it's light, it's daylight, you're getting ready to go home or you're at home. And then we have
Wow.
a great big breakfast. And the breakfast would consist of a lot of things that you would not afford to eat on a daily basis during the year.
Mhm.
And when we get done, we would, of course, would have all new sheets um, on your bed. Our my dad's house had like stones in the path both sides, and he would whitewash the stones. He would whitewash the base of all the trees. They were like pine trees going on each either side. So it did look like Christmas, and we would eat dinner, we would drink sorrel, have cake. We did not do gifts as such. How we did our gifts was Christmas Eve, each of us would get some money and we would go out and we called it, and for those who are listening who is from Jamaica, they'll understand exactly. We call it Grand Market, and we would go out and we buy whatever we wanted to buy, which of course most of it would include little toys. We would sparkles and things that we wanted to play with, and we would do that Christmas Eve. We were able to be out regardless of how young you were until very late, and that was exciting because you didn't get a chance to be out that late. And we each would get soda. Soda there was in bottles, so we just felt so grown having a bottle of soda. And these are things that you're not allowed to do, but Christmas, you got that. So it was fun. It was lovely. They were, I'm from a big family, and just being together and just eating and being silly, and, people coming in and then you going out. It was just a lot of fun, a lot of fun. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. And here, when we came here, which is almost 40 years ago, 30 something years, we still do gathering. My siblings who are here, we still get together on Christmas Day. And of course, each family would bring a dish, but we still get together and enjoy. Some of my siblings, they love to decorate. My sister, one of my sister in particular, from Thanksgiving, her decorations are up, her table is fixed. And I used to do some decorating too. But then I lost interest and everything, and no longer go out. But I will put up a tree, and for Christmas. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's about it. How
Nice.
about you?
That was a lovely story. I like the way that you shared in your community and everything.
Yeah.
That's great. Um, we try to do the same thing by inviting people into our house. And my husband, one thing we adopted, my husband is Cuban, second generation. His parents came over, and we continue the celebration of Noche Buena, which is when you on Christmas Eve, you have your big meal, and it's usually roast pork, black beans and rice, yuca, you might have a flan. And we try to invite people over to share that meal with us. It's usually a little bit easier because most people, in America, they do their big meal on Christmas Day. So we do ours, and when we eat leftovers on Christmas Day. So I'm happy about that because I don't have to cook.
Right. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. I love those stories. And I do can can also say I did the same type of things that Vilma has done in the past. And here in America, I remember Christmas Day. I'm growing up. I remember Grand Market Night that she talked about. Where we know also used to celebrate that when I was younger, and when I was in teenage years. I remember we get up and my father always, he was born in the 40s, but he loved the 70s. So every Christmas he would put on his 70s outfit. I don't know why, but he always have those tight polyester pants on with the bell bottom. He
Oh,
did
yeah.
that every Christmas. Don't know why, but that's what his outfit consists of on Christmas. And he would put that on with his little, shirt from the 70s, and he will make the meal, and he normally do most of the cooking for Christmas, and the family would get together, and then we'll watch movies together, and then at the end of the day I will go find my friends and go to their house and hang out for the rest of the night. But that's just the tradition, and we always have, no matter what it is, my stepmother always have dinner at 3 o'clock. Always, no matter what, it's always at 3. So wherever we are, we have to make sure we're there at 3 because that's when dinner starts. And we watch movies together and play games and just have a grand time. But I've always loved, like you ladies, love the holidays. Christmas is my favorite time of the year, and getting together with friends, getting together with family, and just celebrate. We all know the true meaning behind Christmas. Remembering Christ and remembering, even though it's not actually the day that he was born, but we're celebrating and remembering what he has done for us and the meaning, which is the true meaning behind Christmas. I know you want to add anything on that, Vilma, but yeah.
No, that's about it. Yeah. So what we do now, of recent, I think over the last maybe 5 years, we would have a big gathering, Debbie, on Christmas Eve. And then Christmas Day, we try to sleep late and more or less have a brunch and stay in our pajamas. And you don't really expect anybody and you're not going anywhere. So I love that part of it. You have your big meal and you get together Christmas Eve and leftovers Christmas Day, and it tastes just as wonderful.
I think I like that though. I think I like that Christmas Eve cooking. I think that's a good idea. I might even start incorporating that. I like that tradition you guys have. Because Christmas Day, you're home. You don't really want to go anywhere. You want to stay in your pajamas and chill or whatever it may be, and sleep in late. I like that. I like that, ladies. So guys, if you guys want to able to tell us your Christmas stories and, send us an email or make a comment or whatever it may be, you guys can able to put that in. We have our syndication. We're on Facebook. We're on all the podcast syndication. So if you want to comment and let us know what you do at Christmas or how you spend your Christmas, and whether if you carol, whether if you have 13, 15 trees, whatever it may be in your themes, we will love to hear from you guys in reference to what you do. And let's all celebrate and have Marian share our secrets or share whatever we want to share. And if you want to get in touch with Debbie, let me know. Reach out to me to get tips on how to decorate or have a plan and a theme and whatever with your trees and to make your house more festive. The joy for the season. We will definitely forward that information on to her. So any other questions? Vilma, any other comments?
Well, this is not a question, but I just want to encourage people, do not put yourself in debt to buy gifts at Christmas. A lot of people do that, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense at all. Because when Christmas is over, you are left with that big bill. And, you give a gift, of course, you love to give, but don't put yourself in debt. And, especially as the economy gets worse and we don't exchange gifts anymore in our house. We find a family and we shop. So we have an amount that we say we are going to spend. So we spend that, and sometimes we don't do the wrapping. We may order on Amazon and it gets delivered to their home. And because we really don't want anything as such, and so we don't exchange gifts. We give it, we use the money and we bless somebody who may not be able to get something for their children. And we feel it's wonderful. It's great doing that. And we just, whether it's a family of 3 or 4 or 5, what we just set an amount, and this is what we're going to spend. And yeah, so you won't find us opening gifts, and we still have fun. It's still wonderful. Yeah.
Now, the true meaning of Christmas also is family.
Yes.
Is spending time with your family. And even though we do the Noche Buena here in Pennsylvania, the following weekend, from whenever Christmas Day is, we go down to where my mother lives, and my siblings and my son and grandchildren, we all converge there. And that's when we do our Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
More traditional. We hang our stockings at night, and we all go to bed in the morning. We get up, and the only ones that get gifts anymore are the children.
Yeah.
Like you said, we don't need anything when we get to be an adult. You don't need, usually what you want, you've already bought for yourself, and it is terrible, the people that go into debt for that, because it's just about being together. And we cook a big breakfast and we eat that, and then we cook again, and we cook the turkey and the dressing and the mashed potatoes and all that wonderful stuff. And then we bask for the rest of the day.
Yes.
And then we eat leftovers.
Yeah, I like how she said we bask.
Yes. We just bask. We watch a little football, and it's a wonderful time then too. And that's when our real Christmas is, because I'm blessed to still have my mother. She is 93 years old in her own house. And so we go back to her house and celebrate Christmas that way.
Wow.
Nice.
Nice.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Deb, for coming on and sharing with us, all the information about, how you celebrate Christmas and how you put your trees up and how you organize it and what people can do in order to be festive for the holiday, and sharing about your father. That was really great. I remember I heard the story before years ago, first time that your father was Santa Claus. I was like, wow, it's very impressive to me, and what he have done for the community. That's such a legacy that he have left for his grandchildren and great grand for years to come. And that's something that you guys can pass on from generation to generation. So that's such a blessing. And I love the thing what you guys said, the theme that we all said is about family and getting together and spending time and being together and giving and not being in debt, like Vilma said. And it's good to give, but it's good to receive, but it's also better to give, I should say, because I feel a lot more festive when I have to give, and bless someone else. And, Christ gave us himself as a gift. So it's good for us to give to someone else, be a blessing. So we just thank you, everyone, for listening and being with us for this little time that we have to just talk about the things that we can do and the things that we can learn about Christmas and how we celebrate in different aspects. We gave you the American version, the West Indian version, and the Cuban version. Well, it's all Caribbean anyway, but in the Caribbean version of Christmas and the American version. So we just thank you for joining us. This is another episode of Life Chat with Viv and Vil. Goodbye, everyone.